I want to introduce to you guys the biggest lie in the history of the internet.
Can this be used real time with any privacy policy?
One thing I would wonder about is sort of the demand and the pricing model, and they're kind of related.
In October, we aim to partner with the first small business. Hi guys, I'm Bill.
And I'm Tara, and we are Infotruster. We help you read privacy policies in seconds. So today, I want to introduce to you guys the biggest lie in the history of the internet. I have read the terms before accepting. According to Forbes, 1 in 1,000 users view documents before pressing agree. You are not alone. Meet Paul, who in 2019 did not care enough to read a policy. This resulted in him giving a company legal access to his firstborn child, all because he didn't read a single term.
Like Paul, any of us could have lost our firstborn child. We encounter privacy policies every single day. In the last 24 hours, these are all the online agreements we have encountered. A lot of these policies are simply too long, contain tough legal jargon, and are so boring to read. Now introducing Infotruster, a Chrome extension that solves Paul's problem.
Our extension's features include a policy summarizer, an outline risk feature, a grade rating of how safe agreeing to the policy is, and steps to use a site while minimizing data loss. So here is our product demo. We are using a sample privacy policy of Canva. We click our extension, we sign in using our email and password, and then once we input that information, we press sign in. Then we click Get Summary to get a summary of the ways we can use the site without handing over data, risks, user rights, warnings, and a summary.
The service market of Chrome extension has $4.5 billion. We're going to target 9% of the market, which is 100,000 users with $5 million. We're excited to announce that in just 24 hours, we got 5 premium users and $25 in revenue.
Unlike ChatGPT, Infotruster stands out with its browser extension format to make privacy policies as easily accessible as possible. We also provide our users with a strong, organized layout and minimal text. A key differentiating factor is that Infotruster further provides actionable measures to still use a site while limiting privacy loss. Our business model provides 2 plans for our users. We have a basic plan with neat policy summaries and risk reminders, and we have a premium plan at a one-time fee of $4.99. This includes outlining users' risks, a rating system, and steps to minimize risk for our users while still using a website.
Meet our team. All of us have been in a situation we have gotten confused by a company's long privacy policy. With our division of labor, we cover all aspects needed to make our product excellent, from AI to publicity, and that makes us a perfect team. We will generate wealth through advertisements on browsers and social media. Additionally, we will seek partnerships on our premium plan with small private tech companies to encourage their employees to use our extension. Here's our future roadmap. By the end of August 2024, we plan to add 100 of the most popular websites pre-summarized in our database. In September, we'll process to 500. In October, we aim to partner with the first small business. At the end of the year, we plan to add a feature that tracks changes to make policies over time.
We are asking for a seed fund of $100,000. $50,000 will be used for advertisements such as promotions through social media. $30,000 will be used in development to add features and improve our extension, and $20,000 will be used for miscellaneous fees and salary. In summary, our extension summarizes and analyzes privacy policies. Our basic plan is free, while our premium plan is a one-time fee of $4.99. Our seed fund ask is $100,000, and in the future, we plan to improve our database and reach thousands of users.
Thank you. And together, let's make the biggest lie on the internet a myth.
How are you making these summaries?
So for the summaries, we're basically taking the link from Chrome's built-in tools with the extensions to get the link. Then we send that off to our GPT-4 API, which summarizes the entire privacy policy. Then we store it in a database so that if somebody decides to summarize the same website, we're not going and calling back that API every single time. we're just pulling it from the database, which also makes the time to get the summary a lot shorter when it's like the same website being summarized over and over. And it also saves costs, but we don't have to call the API every.
So just I guess, follow-up question, can this be used real time with any privacy policy? You mentioned you were kind of adding 100 websites in your database on the roadmap and then 500 later. Or does it work with a website that's already in your database?
It can get like new privacy policies without being in the database. It's just a lot quicker if it's already in the database and it's already there, perfectly put there, so you'll just grab it from the database. But it can get
take
about 5 to 10 seconds to get the details and summary.
If it's not in the database?
If it's not in the database, yeah.
One thing you might want to consider, by the way, is these databases, so these privacy policies do get updated periodically. It's not super often, but for a company like Canva, it could be once or twice a year. So you might consider building something that also so privacy policies have to say when they were most recently updated. You might consider storing that as metadata, and every time it's scraped, comparing it to that, just to make sure that you're keeping up to date as appropriate. So one thing I would wonder about is sort of the demand and the pricing model, and they're kind of related. Presumably 1 in 1,000 people read it. I think that's an overestimate because they don't care. So how do you get them to pay, or what is the evidence that they actually care? The other question I have is the pricing model, right? $5, especially as a one-time fee, that's not really that much. And so obviously that's enough for you to make money off of sort of now. But the thing is, summarizing these policies, that's ongoing OpEx. And so presumably that means that eventually that $5 you got from someone gets eaten up in GPT API calls, summarizing, various privacy policies they're looking at. So how do you think about making money past that initial $5 spend? And small business, by the way, you're doing it for free with GPT. They're not going to pay you to partner. So there must be some other way.
Yeah.
Okay, I can answer the question. So the first question you're asking is wait. Okay.
Do you think that people will use it and pay for it?
Yeah. So according to our research, and according to our validation process, we actually surveyed a lot of people, and the reason why they don't read those
is a lot.
50 to 100 people, I guess. Yeah, that's our validation. The people we surveyed, and according to that answers, a lot of people who don't answer, who don't watch, who don't read those terms of conditions, is not because they don't care. It's simply because those privacy policies simply too complicated, and that's why we're trying to make it simplified. And to answer your second questions, yeah. So right now it's $5, and what we're consider is to gain a really stable customer base first. Once we reach 300, let's say 300 to 500 users, we're gonna raise the money to $5 to a amount that actually can cover the future costs and actually make us more profitable.
Could you clarify your target audience? Are you going after consumers or small businesses? Part of your plan said partnering with small business partners, so I wanted to get more clarity.
Yeah, I can answer this question. So we're going after consumers. So internet users that want to download our extension because privacy policies are too confusing. So they actually care enough to download and buy our extension. And then the part about the companies and partnerships, so that would be something that we would kind of find out more about in the future and seek to do in the future. Kind of going with what Evan said about making money later on. So when we want to take that $5 fee and expand it, we could consider partnering with small businesses, and maybe they would get their employees, if they're focused in the tech industry, they would get their employees to buy our product.
One thing you might consider is you use the term customer base. Typically that means they're buying more than one thing from you, right? And so one thing you might consider is, what's another thing I can sell that is useful? So consider, for example, you know where they're going and you know what their privacy risks are. So maybe you can have an ultra premium that gives them a privacy dashboard they can log into at any time, instead of like trying to get a small business to partner with you for something where maybe they, don't necessarily, then you're trying to sell the whole another person, right? So one of the things that I'm curious is, obviously you have these privacy policies, but sometimes you have things that have a certain context. So I'll give you an example. We're a little different. We're a B2B enterprise company at Edge, but we have to have permission to move the data around because we have to provide people the service. We have servers, and we have to be able to say, well, Washington is down. We're using Ohio today. So have you considered giving people maybe context or explainers as to why things are the way they are? Maybe tracking other things like cookies and telling them what's going on the websites they're at. And basically, I think not just telling them what's there, but making it less scary. Because when I saw the initial screenshot you saw, I was like, as someone in the industry, a lot of these might scare someone, but they also might leave them just as confused, even though it's bite-sized.
Yeah, I think those are all things that we would definitely add in the future.
Oh yeah, I wanted to bring us back, I guess, with this discussion about potential future features on the roadmap. Wanted to kind of bring us back to pricing. I'm curious as to why it's a one-time fee versus, something that could be a subscription, right? Whether monthly, annual, etc. Especially if you plan to add on more features.
Like the main reason for that is because because $5 isn't that much to a lot of people. So the reason why we put $5 is to want attract more customers, so that we have a lot of users already. So then we can start adding money or raise our price. So that's the reason why we start with $5. So it isn't people wouldn't care that much.
Oh, sorry, just to clarify, the question is why a one-time fee versus a subscription from an individual or a recurring fee?
So we also looked at since we're selling on the Chrome web store, we're an extension, we looked at what a lot of other business models are for Chrome extensions. And first of all, a lot of them are free. Not a lot of them actually sell to people. So by doing a one-time fee, I think that would make people more likely to buy our product, because a lot of them are free, and then the ones that are paid are just one time. So that's what we followed.
Okay, we have time for
one. You might want to do slightly more research. A lot of the Chrome extensions are free because they are tied to a subscription that someone pays for elsewhere. So you might want to double check that research.
Okay. Thank you very much, Infotruster. Let's welcome the next team.
What's up, danger?
We're coming back with two titles: Most Outstanding Company and The Best Pitch.
And so I'm going to present Most Outstanding Startup. For us, it was really clear. It was, it's Infotech, right?
Infotruster, yeah.
Yes. The part of what made it really clear was, although there's the one-time fee thing, it was something where you could imagine people actually paying for it. The user interface was very built out. They clearly done a lot of consumer research, like a survey with a meaningful number of people. And you could see clearly how it could expand to other features over time, where you could get people to pay even more money for it. It was clear what it did. It was clear what the features were. And so for us, it was actually pretty clear.